Hey everyone, I'm Gloria S, Crump, the Queen of Real Estate. Thank you for joining us this week's Tea Crumpets here at the Coastal Leaders Realty Group. Today we have a special guest, Ross Sykes. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, and he's a mortgage broker for Homefront Lending. And thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the mortgage industry.
Okay, with the mortgage industry, I actually didn't find it; it found me.
Oh,
so I had a previous.
That's why you knew you were in the right career.
Right. I had prior history, military, and then worked for the federal government for a number of years, and took a leap of faith. And from that leap of faith, I ran into another veteran, and he said, "You ever thought about going in the mortgage business?" Because I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
As I said before.
Exactly. Yeah.
So part of that, he said, "Come spend a day with me." Spend a day with you. I'm like, I would really love this because
awesome.
It's connected with my mind, my heart, and I can educate and give back to the community. So.
And here
we
are.
are.
That's awesome. And so obviously that was very inspirational. That's kind of like how you said that you kind of knew that was for you. You know, you're able to give back and to help people. And I think that's amazing. So what do you enjoy most about helping people buy homes?
I think the stories. I'm a firm believer that everybody has a story.
Yeah.
People are who they are is based on their past experiences, but also who they choose to be. So the stories of watching generations where you're actually changing generational paths to create wealth through real estate. The people who are buying a house for the first time.
Yeah.
Or I helped their mom and dad. Now they got an age where I'm helping them. And my long-term goal is I would love to help 4 generations of the same family.
Oh, wow.
That's what I would love to do, but that's pretty much why I do what I do.
That's awesome. And so, like you said, you were a veteran. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And you obviously have a program called Homefront for Heroes. So tell us a little bit about that. And obviously, I would love for you to talk too about how you got to meet the governor yesterday.
Right.
And what all that entailed.
Okay. Well, there's 2 pillars to that. Homefront for Heroes is number 1 about taking care of the consumer when it comes to buying a home. A lot of times, veterans as well, there's organizations out there that say they're for the veteran when it comes to lending, but they're actually not when it comes to fees. And they fee them, I like to say, fee them to death. So they charge outlandish origination fees, discount points, and admin fees, and these fees that they shouldn't pay for.
Yeah.
So Homefront, we won't charge that. When it comes to the veteran and even the first responders and our nurses and medical professionals out there, we want to make sure when they're getting into the loan, if they look in box A of the closing disclosure, they're not going to see any fees from Homefront Lending. And that's our way of giving back.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's awesome. And so tell us about, that's actually great. And so tell us a little bit about, that meeting with the governor and what that entailed.
So what that entailed, that's the second pillar to Homefront for Heroes. It's not what we're showing just by money, but we're also showing through actions. So
good.
About anytime there's a area or opportunity where I see something can be improved, I love to step in and be a part of that and create kind of my own mission. So I started from a conversation with Representative Jennifer Fiddler about 3 years ago, which led to me meeting the Vice Chair of Veteran Affairs for the state of Alabama, Representative Paschal out of Shelby County. And he said, "What can I help you with?" I was like, "We have right now veterans that are 100% total and permanent disabled. They're not going to become undisabled. So with that, they're exempt from property taxes here in Alabama. So when they go to qualify for a mortgage, though, we had to use property tax against their debt to income ratio to qualify.
Even though they're going to be exempt.
Even though they're going to be exempt.
That's crazy.
Because the exemption didn't take effect until after they closed and they filed homestead and they filed their exemption.
Yeah, and also they get a credit for the portion of the year that they don't own.
Correct. So we don't have to collect that. And from day 1, as of October 1st this year, we actually got the bill passed, and I was meeting with Governor Ivey's office yesterday, and we actually had the ceremonial bill signing, and she signed off that as of October 1st of this year, veterans no longer have to have property taxes counted against them when it comes to qualifying for a mortgage.
That's amazing.
It's been amazing.
That's awesome. Because when you're on disability, I mean, every little bit can count against you tremendously with that debt to income ratio. So that is a huge feat that y'all accomplished. So thank you.
The buying power too. Say they're looking at a house that's $350,000, but they really like this house that's $365,000. Now I'm not using this property tax against them. As long as their debt to income ratio, they can qualify for more of a house
for what they're really wanting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations. And you said that was 3 years in the making.
3 years in the making.
Well, it just shows, like your passion, your determination, and all these veterans are very going to be appreciative for y'all's work on that. That's actually huge. So thank you. And so, but not only do y'all have programs for veterans, y'all are first responders and such. Y'all also have some for first-time home buyers as well.
Correct.
Okay.
There's several different programs. I know a lot of times the cost of entry is a barrier for these first-time home buyers when it comes to buying a home. So how do we eliminate those barriers one at a time?
Yeah.
One typically could be assets when it comes to funds needed for closing, such as down payment. So some of the ways we do that is we partnered with the Alabama Family Housing Authority, which basically allows them to go into maybe an Alabama step-up program where they have a reduced interest rate that's set by AHFA, or through national down payment assistance programs where they're not going to have a down payment assistance program and they're paying 8% interest rate. That don't make sense.
Yeah, no.
That doesn't cure.
No, if anything is.
Yeah. So try to find ways to minimize that cost so their entry point into getting a home, it's more achievable.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, there's different types of loan programs. There's FHA, there's conventional, there's VA loans. Can you give us, simplistic terms of like what the differences are, with down payments, interest rates, credit scores, etc.
Yeah, so it's simple. In a nutshell, FHA, great for first-time home buyers, 3.5% down payment. What you get with FHA, you typically get a lower interest rate, and mortgage insurance is typically cheaper as well.
Yeah.
And then when you go into a VA loan, obviously no down payment, you still have access to lower rates, and you have no mortgage insurance.
Yeah.
And then going into conventional, first-time home buyer conventional is 3% down. But if you're haven't been a first-time home buyer in the last 3 years, it's 5% down. But typically, you'll see the mortgage insurance be a little bit more elevated.
Well, it's interesting too. Like with the FHA, when the interest rates started increasing, I started seeing contracts come in where people, could qualify for conventional, but they were wanting to do the FHA route because the interest rates were lower.
Right.
And even on the FHA, it's a minimum of, is it 580? For the
580.
Yes. So it's almost interesting that you would think, okay, well, conventional, you would expect the interest rates to be lower, but why can't you can only have one FHA loan? Right. So whereas that kind of sometimes messes up people, and it has to be a primary residence.
Correct.
So that's why a lot of times you don't see people with coming in with an FHA because they might have multiple properties or something of that nature. But the debt to income ratio is also higher for FHA.
Right. There's a little nuance in there, and
a
little trick that I really like to delve into as well. A lot of times people think a lower rate is better. Not always.
Okay.
If you're comparing an FHA loan against a conventional
loan. Because right now someone's like, wow, I should definitely go FHA if I can. Okay.
So, but typically conventional is 3% down, not 3.5% down. So you're saving 0.5%. Also, mortgage insurance could be higher. But the thing that a lot of people don't understand in the market is FHA, you have that mortgage insurance premium, which is 1.75% of the loan amount.
Yeah.
So that 1.75% is being added onto the loan, increasing how much you're going to owe as a mortgage over time. And yes, you have a lower rate, but conventional, you don't have that.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have that mortgage insurance premium.
Gotcha.
You're just paying that monthly rate.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes sense because sometimes you're thinking, why are more people going? It just almost seems like it's too good to be true as to what not to do that FHA.
And look at that mortgage payment too, compared at the end of the day. What is my mortgage going to be every month for FHA? What's it going to be for conventional? And a lot of times with conventional, you don't have to refinance. If, say you don't put 20% down, you don't have to refinance to get that mortgage insurance away. As soon as your loan to value drops under 80% to 78%, that mortgage insurance automatically goes away. You don't have to refinance.
Oh, okay.
But the other loan products, you have to refinance to get out of that.
Okay. Well, that is good to know. And now, obviously, we've got a new Fed chair coming in. Now, do you, in your opinion, do you see that having an effect on the interest rates being lowered? Everybody loves to have like a crystal ball, but just curious what somebody who's is dealing with in this industry, what your opinion is.
I would like to say no.
Okay.
It's not probably the favorite answer everybody wants to hear.
Yeah.
But the reason why is the Fed Reserve should always act independently from any political pressure.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why they're monitoring inflation,
Yeah.
cost of goods and services, and other ancillary services to determine what the rates are going to be and where they go.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a Fed chair come in and drop the rate, say we're down to 4.5%, what's that going to do on inflation? It's going to increase it. So next thing you know, we're going to be back up into a higher rate market.
Mm-hmm.
I believe stability is key, and volatility is scary sometimes. But I think the number one thing is the new Fed chair. I hope whenever he talks and the investors and the people out there buying these mortgages on the secondary market listen, that their word choices matter. Because as we've seen with Jerome Powell, word choices sometimes took the markets up 25 bips or down 25 bips.
Just by what he would say.
I would just like stability.
Yeah.
I think we all need stability.
Yeah, right? We need some stability in our lives. Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And so what makes Homefront Lending different from other lenders, in your opinion?
I think, number one, our clients are first and people are first. And with that, what makes us unique is being a brokerage is we have access to 25 different banks.
Oh.
Now, out of these 25 banks where we have lender partner relationships with, we have them compete for the client's business. So when we pull application in, pull a credit check, and go through and we go under contract and we send the file to the market to see who wants us.
Who's gonna want that? Yeah.
We have the lenders compete for that business.
Okay.
And we know who has lender overlays, who doesn't. Who's better at certain products than others, who's better at the investor loans.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to send a loan to a bank or to an institution that is not good at it.
Oh, yeah.
So
for sure.
I think quality is more important than quantities at times with that.
Yes, definitely. And so y'all's slogan, service beyond the transaction. So what does that necessarily mean to your team?
I think service beyond the transaction is we are blessed and thankful, and the people that are a part of Homefront is we are the people that are in your community. We're shopping at your grocery stores. We're going to the concerts. We're hanging out in the boat. When we run across our clients, number one, we don't walk away from them.
Yeah.
They will come up and give us a hug and handshake. And I think that relationship deepens if you focus on relationships and not transactions. It's amazing what life happens.
Yeah, that's kind of like that's exactly how I feel. Is that because the transaction will come.
Right.
Once you take away that, you're really looking at what's best for your client. And they know that, they can feel it, they can sense it, and so and that's where trust builds.
Right.
So yes, I definitely agree with you on that. So obviously we've had some crazy stories in our career, and so what's one of the crazy ones that you can think of?
I think one of the craziest ones that I was a part of. I'm a big fan of when it comes to helping clients get to the closing table. Everybody has a role. Listing agent has a role. Buyer's agent has a role. Lender, I have a role. We stay in our lane, but also we complement each other. And sometimes when you're running across obstacles, such as about 4 years ago, there was a buyer that was moving into the area in a U-Haul, and they got here a couple of days before their closing date, and the seller said, well, the garage is open. Like, there's nothing in there. If they want to, they could just store their stuff in the garage until we close. And then everything will be fine.
We're always like, oh gosh, don't do.
Yeah, it's
always, yes, it is
scary. So
you get final. I'm always like,
And this lady, I mean, she was in her 60s. She was moving here alone. She's such a sweetheart, and I wish the seller would have known. It helped her then, but then the seller, the day before closing, said, "Hey, we're not closed yet. I need you to come move your stuff out of the garage." And
I was like, wait, what?
Yes, yeah. But some things in life, like people are gonna people sometimes.
Oh yeah. Apparently that person had a lapse of memory lapse, so they gave permission.
But through some PR work, we were able to encourage, hey, will you please just give us 24 hours? And we got to the closing table, and the lady didn't have to move her stuff.
There is a good ending to that story.
There was a good ending, but when it was going through it, I mean, my heart, I'm big on heart. And when you know me, you see me, I mean, I look you in the eye and I tell you, like, I don't have to have your trust. I have to earn it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be who I am.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. Well, I'm glad that lady was able to keep her stuff in there.
Yes.
Especially one day before closing. It's like, oh my goodness. So, yeah, we've definitely had some crazy stories. And it's always, you never can like relax sometimes until, because you just never know what's going to happen. But it sounds like you've had a lot of experience. Yes. The good, the bad, the ugly.
With a commercial, I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you can see writing on the wall. It's like, that's my thing. I was like, oh, I can see what's about to happen here. Well, I do appreciate you coming, and thank you for explaining all this to us. And I feel like you definitely know how to navigate through not just the VAs, but also the other types of loans too. And so, which is extremely knowledgeable for our clients. So that's great. Well, and then we'll have his contact information at the end, so that way people can contact you. And obviously, the people you obviously handle refinance as well. So, people are who aren't necessarily looking to buy right now, they can always refinance because the interest rates have come down some.
Yes. Well, I wanted to, before we close, I wanted to tell you something. My wife asked me today, what's your plans today? I was like, I'm actually going to meet the queen of real estate. She said, what? She said, all the years we've been traveling down to the beach and going to the boat launch and everything, we always see your billboard and everything. I was like, the queen of real estate that we see on the billboard all the time. She was like, oh, is that where you're going? She said, where are you going to be at? She said, tell her I said hello. But, I think impression in business and in life is all about the little things.
Yeah.
When I walked in and seen the pillow.
Oh, this is Katie's idea. She started awesome. That. Yep. But detail.
There's a difference between you can work with anybody or you can work to the ones who pay attention to the fine details.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for telling me that. Yes. Tell her I said hello. I'll have to meet her. So, yes. No, I enjoy that. And my slogan is, I treat my clients like royalty. Right. So that's the whole point of the queen of real estate. So it's really about my clients. And I hope my clients feel that way, but I do strive for them to feel like they're important, that they're number one, and that, like we talked about, it's not about the transaction, it's about them. So, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That was nice. So put a smile on my face. So, well, I appreciate it, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. We hope you learned something. Have a great day.